Happy Easter. Let's start this off with a bang, shall we? Nice. A little bit of chaos, because why not? Tis the season. Tis the season. We'll see if we can find a place to hide, then maybe we'll have a bit of a chat. See how we go. Oops. Missed me. Language, Michael. Language, bro. Okay. Woo! Here we go. A little bit of quiet time to think. I find this nice little place is also good for the occasional rampage. But one of the funny things I've noticed is that armor and guns don't respawn the way they used to, which is a bit disappointing. Anyway, all nitpicks. But I thought today we might talk about some different things off the top of my head. We could talk about Easter, but that's going to be pretty divisive. And so I'm not going to get involved and give my 2 cents on the conflict in Israel/Gaza. People will always ask you, well, which side do you support? Neither of them. I support the people who are innocent. And, you know, let's be honest, they're always the ones who get caught up in the middle between the dickheads and Hamas, the net leadership, not net leadership, idiot. The leadership of Hamas has a net worth of approximately $11 billion last time I checked. And they seem to spend most of their money on weapons, wars, you know, bombs, etc. Meanwhile, their quote-unquote people's country is being blown to pieces. $11 billion buys a lot of food, and yet they're not going to do that. They're not going to focus on feeding their people because, well, they're living the good life in, is it Qatar? Somewhere nice. They sure as shit ain't living in Gaza. Let's be honest about that. Then you have the IDF, and I haven't really watched the news because, let's be honest, the news is bloody depressing. But the figures that I've heard is that there have been 35,000 civilian casualties. Excuse me a moment. Speaking of casualties, 35,000. Yeah, that's a lot, but let's compare that for a moment to the civilian casualties in Iraq, Afghanistan, and all the countries that the Americans bombed the shit out of, okay? As retaliation for approximately 3,500 deaths in September the 11th terrorist attacks, they killed approximately 400,000 civilians. Well, 420,000. Some people are saying millions, some people are saying hundreds of thousands, you know, potato, potato. In fact, I don't know if you could call it genocide, probably, but, you know, you want to talk about war criminals, let's talk about the Americans. Bush is still a free man. Obama's a free man. He invaded 7 countries. Someone was saying that Obama dropped a bomb every 20 minutes, which I'd believe that. He blew up a 16-year-old kid, Abdul Rahman Anwar al-Awlaki, off the top of my head. Kid who went to go and see his father, blown up by a drone strike. And how was Obama punished for that? They gave him a Nobel Peace Prize, because of course you do. Nothing says peace like blowing up a friggin' 16-year-old kid with a drone strike. Yeah, man of peace. Yeah, but obviously I'm not a particularly educated person, but you know who is educated? Jeremy Scahill. Awesome journalist, awesome author. If you want some, not necessarily light reading because it's pretty depressing, but very well, thoroughly researched, I would recommend, off the top of my head, Jeremy Scahill. One book is called Blackwater, The Rise of the World's Most Powerful Mercenary Army. Obviously, it's all about the company Blackwater, which literally made a killing in Iraq and other conflicts. The other one, now that first book, that sort of takes place in the Bush era. If you want a history lesson, that's a good place to start. Secondly, once again off the top of my head, because this is unscripted, I recommend reading, what's the book called? Dirty Wars, The World is a Battlefield. Now this is more the Obama era, and how under his presidency he basically gave more power to the private military contractors. And as discussed in previous videos, he's also invaded 7 countries and, you know, blown the shit out of them. But hey, let's give him a Nobel Peace Prize. Alright, enough politics. We might come back to that at a later date. People say it's religion that divides the world. No, it's just idiot politicians. And I think I've had enough discussing that. So, on a more lighthearted note, let's talk about something that I enjoy, video games and movies. I'd like you to, if you're a new subscriber, I'm curious as to what you're playing at the moment and also what you're excited about what's coming out. Personally, I'm looking forward to Project Mugen and Stellar Blade for obvious reasons and not so obvious reasons. At the moment, I'm playing a little bit of Fortnite, a lot of GTA Online, and some Watch Dogs. They're all fun multiplayer games. But we'll see. I don't think Western gaming developers have really had many huge games in the last few years. I mean, you know, Suicide Squad Killer Justice League, which I've discussed before, was shit. This is what happens when you hire, I'm not going to use the term woke, so let's just say politically correct activists to write games. They write trash because their first priority is getting the politics right, as opposed to making a game that is fun for gamers to play. That's why they can only produce shit. That's why Suicide Squad Killer Justice League was shit. That's why, well, even Gotham Knights was pretty lackluster as compared to, say, the first few Arkham games. And if I do go off the rails, you know, this whole rant is off the top of my head, so there is no script for this, it's just a bit of fun. But yeah, I think the Japanese game developers are really going to take off. So Project Mugen, Stellar Blade once again. Helldivers 2 looks good, but I haven't had a chance to play it. We'll see. And lastly, yeah, good luck with that, bro. Lastly, in terms of movies, everybody is talking about, you know, superhero fatigue, but here's today's hot take. It's not superhero fatigue, it's not even franchise fatigue. It's Hollywood fatigue. It's America fatigue. People are sick and tired of the hypocrisy of America. You know, many of us my generation in particular, we grew up in the 80s and 90s with... Yeah, call an ambulance. Shut up. Trying to monologue here. Yeah. My generation grew up in the 80s and 90s with big, loud, dumb action movies. A few superhero movies here and there, but... Yeah... It was always the Americans saving the world. You know, think of things like Independence Day or, you know, Die Hard or 100 other things. And then post 9/11, all the wars started. America showed their true colors. Not that I'm saying Americans are bad people, but, you know, their politicians have certainly done a lot of damage to their reputation abroad. And as a result, people are sick of America. And that's why I think foreign cinema is taking off. You look at the success of a film like Godzilla -1, made for a budget of approximately 15 million bucks, and much better than a lot of the shit Hollywood is pumping out. Another example I always return to is the French version of The Count of Monte Cristo, starring everybody's favorite Gerard Depardieu. Awesome actor. Does much better than most of the Hollywood actors. I don't think they could hold a candle to my boy Gerard. If you haven't seen The Count of Monte Cristo, I recommend you check it out. It's a 4-part series. It's awesome. The American version is complete shit. Don't waste your time with it. There you go, free film review. Once again though, you know, I think people are just tired of just getting the same old perspective, the American perspective, every time. American superheroes, American action movies, American horror, whatever. One moment. There we go. Yep, let's get in there. While I get out of here. Oops. Here's another semi-hot take too. I don't think movies were designed to be franchises. Because inevitably... you have a few good films in a quote-unquote franchise, and then the rest turn to shit. I would say the magic number is 3, because, I mean, let's be honest, when we're analysing movies, we're always talking about trilogies. Back to the Future, 3 great movies. The Lord of the Rings, 3 great movies. Star Wars, 3 great movies. Someone might bring up The Matrix. I would argue that the first one is pretty iconic. Second one, kind of mid. The third one, largely forgettable. And we're not even going to discuss the fourth one, because screw them. Oh yeah, The Godfather. Who could forget? First one, pretty iconic. Second one, even better. Third one, you know, people really shit on the third one, but I find that it really ties the story together. It's a story about a man past his prime, thinking he's still a player, you know, he's making all these moves, but the world moves on and he gets left behind. And at the end of the day, spoiler alert for a movie which is, you know, older than I am, probably, but at the end of the day, he can't even protect his daughter. So what good was all the power if you can't even protect the people that are closest to you? Okay, what are we up to, Michael? I think that's about it, you know. I'd like to close by saying that I really appreciate my few new subscribers that I've gotten, and I thank you all very much for your comments and kind words. If you have enjoyed this video, it's been a short one, but you know, every Unscripted is a bit of an experiment. If you've enjoyed it, leave a thumbs up, leave some comments. I will endeavour to get back to you. Don't forget to subscribe and tell all your friends about the channel, all that kind of stuff. I'm not big and active on social media. I am on Twitter, and one of these days I will figure out how Discord works, and we might get some sort of a group where we can chat on there as well. We'll see how we go. And yeah, do you have anything to add, Michael?
Like and subscribe.
Okay. And yeah, I guess we'll see you in the next one. We'll just pretend I closed with a really good catchphrase instead of doing this.